Thanks for joining us. And today we're going to talk about Kriya Yoga and the path of renunciation. The path of renunciation is a form of spiritual discipline that is found in a number of spiritual traditions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and others. Renunciation often includes renouncing worldly attachments, desires, possessions, and family relationships to pursue spiritual goals such as enlightenment and self-realization. There is a conscious choice to dedicate oneself to spiritual life by withdrawing from worldly affairs to focus on attaining higher states of consciousness or liberation from suffering. Individuals who follow the path of renunciation often give up marriage, family, employment, and material possessions to pursue their spiritual practice. Renunciant paths value detachment from worldly life, which is seen as an impediment to spiritual practice. The path often involves ascetic practices to discipline the mind and body and weaken the hold of material attachments. The path of renunciation may include leaving one's home and going to live in an ashram or hermitage. The word ashram means refuge and is considered as a spiritual escape from worldly responsibilities. While the renunciatory path can work for a minority of spiritually inclined seekers who benefit from withdrawing from the world, it is not for everyone. There can be a number of challenges with the path of renunciation that, if not handled skillfully, can actually hamper one's spiritual development. The first is isolation, in which the seeker is isolated from their normal network of supports, including friends and family members, and is reliant exclusively on the new spiritual group or teacher, which may not provide the similar levels of support that they are accustomed to. The renunciant may experience disillusionment with the world, sometimes bordering on disdain, and may not yet have an illuminating spiritual experience. As a result, their spiritual focus may be on denial rather than on liberation. Renunciants without adequate support can spend years in this state of negativity and either end up jaded or leave the spiritual path entirely. Renunciation can also lead to neglect of one's physical and mental health, since the renunciant believes that these aspects are unspiritual and should be rejected. The resulting negation is a powerful negative force that can actually impede their spiritual progress. The renunciant can experience a spiritual wasteland where neither worldly desires nor spiritual experiences bring fulfillment, and this can be very disheartening and sometimes lead to what is referred to as the dark night of the soul, which can lead to discouragement, depression, and in some cases worse. Despite these pitfalls, some schools of Kriya Yoga favor the path of renunciation and teach from this perspective. Monastics who wear the ochre robe, which represents being a member of the Swami order, are considered as self-realized teachers, while non-monastics are deemed as lay devotees who lack realization. But this is not the way that the Kriya Yoga path was originally conceived. When Yogi Raj Lahiri Baba, the founder of Kriya Yoga, received Diksha initiation from his guru Mahavatar Babaji, Babaji said, "You will have to remain in the family ambit as a complete householder and practice the austere sadhana by which you can establish an illustrious ideal. Many are awaiting you. You will have to show the path of salvation to those honest householders. You cannot forget that you have made a vow to them. Family men desire to practice sadhana, remaining within the family, but they are plagued by problems and possess little time. Therefore, you will have to show them this yoga sadhana, which is facile, simple, unostentatious, and effective. It is because of this you have descended on this earthly abode. You cannot forget this." So Kriya Yoga, by design, is a householder path, not a monastic one. Because the original Kriya Yoga taught by Lahiri Baba was so effective, it was designed specifically to be used by people with many worldly responsibilities and little time, yet still desiring to experience deep inner spiritual communion. There is no need to become a renunciant to practice Kriya Yoga, and although Lahiri Baba did have both monastic and non-monastic disciples, he actively discouraged his students from taking monastic vows. Panchanan Bhattacharya, who was Lahiri Baba's preeminent disciple, was originally refused Diksha by the great master until Panchananji renounced his renunciate vows to become a householder, to marry, and to open a small business. Only then did the Yogi Raj deem Panchananji to be living a balanced life that could support his sadhana, his spiritual practice. Unlike the path of the renunciant, the path of the householder, Gurdhastha Dharma, involves performing spiritual activities while fulfilling one's worldly responsibilities, like marriage, maintaining a home, raising a family, and contributing to one's community. The Gurdhastha phase of the ashramas, the 4 stages of life, was recognized in the Ashrama Upanishad circa the 4th century BCE as essential to society as a whole, because householders provide for society, sustaining those in other life stages through their work and raising the next generation. Gurdhastha Dharma is described in the Bhagavad Gita as balancing worldly duties with spiritual realization by surrendering one's actions and their results to the divine. Gurdhastha Dharma includes the following: Dharma, living an ethical and righteous life, and performing duties with sincerity. Karma Yoga, performing actions without attachment to the results or fruits of those actions. Bhakti Yoga, devotion to one's Ishta Devata, one's chosen form of the divine, in one's spiritual practice. Sadhana, spiritual practice which may include prayer, ritual, chanting, and meditation. In chapter 3, verse 8 of the Bhagavad Gita, it stresses the importance of duty and action. Perform your prescribed duty, for action is better than inaction. A man cannot even maintain his physical body without work. In his commentary on this verse, Yogi Raj Lahiri Baba says, always striving in Paravasta, do your work without wishing for its fruits. The life's journey cannot be completed without action. In chapter 2, verse 48 of the Bhagavad Gita, it says, be steadfast in yoga, O Arjun. Perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is yoga. Lahiri Baba's commentary on this verse is as follows. Yoga, as said, is a steady mental condition, in sorrow and in happiness, in success and in failure. Thus do your duty with devotion to the Lord, staying in Paravasta. Paravasta here is a reference to the after-effect state of Kriya Yoga, which, if Kriya Yoga has been practiced correctly, continues even outside of one's meditation. Paravasta can help one to recognize the ground of being that is pure awareness. Actions done in such a state, therefore, are free of attachment and have no binding karmic impressions, samskaras, because one has let go of the fruits of one's actions, not by renunciation, but by being grounded in one's true essence nature, which is naturally free of attachment. The importance of ongoing communion with one's true essence nature is reflected in the following Gita verse. Fix your mind upon me, engage all your intelligence in me. Thus blessed by me and knowledge, you will doubtlessly always live in me. Lahiri Baba comments on this verse as follows. Put your mind upon me by fixing the intelligence permanently in the Paravasta of Kriya. Thus staying always, the being will surely become my form. He will surely rise or abide on top of the head, without a doubt. This is a reference to the prolonged effect of Paravasta, which is the activation of the Sahasrara, the 1,000-petaled lotus in the head, which brings spiritual illumination and bliss. There are a number of benefits of the householder path that make it ideal for those seeking spirituality, without wanting to endure the rigors of renunciation. The householder path includes meaningful integration of spiritual practices into daily life, which can lead to improved relationships with friends and family and a deeper sense of purpose. In contrast to the solitary path of renunciation, the householder path allows for collective spiritual exploration and fosters a sense of interconnectedness. It also allows one the opportunity to transform one's actions into sacred expressions. An integrated spiritual life is related to greater sense of happiness and fulfillment in one's life. Spiritual growth within the context of one's friends and family can lead to deeper connection and support from one's community. In summary, the path of renunciation shuns worldly activity as an impediment to spiritual progress. Challenges with the path of renunciation include isolation, negation, and neglect. The path of the householder provides a balanced approach to spirituality that combines social and familial responsibility, selfless activity, and devotion to one's sadhana. Kriya Yoga provides a powerful spiritual practice that was designed specifically for yogi householders. As it is said in chapter 6, verse 46 of the Bhagavad Gita, the yogi is deemed greater than body-disciplining aesthetics, even greater than the followers of the path of wisdom or the path of action. Be thou, O Arjuna, a yogi. So if you have any questions about this video, feel free to send me an email at info@modernkriya.com. Also check our website at modernkriya.com and our YouTube channel. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.